in our client service. As a niche law practice, we are conscious of the demands of our clients. We always offer a friendly, listening ear, and sympathetic attitude. We've worked with thousands of people all across the UK in all areas of personal legal services. We have received great feedback, reviews from our clients. We are located at 7 Sisters in Tottenham on the 4th floor of the Anna House, right on top of the Victoria Line train station, for your utmost convenience. We have a friendly office and provide all of the refreshments necessary while you wait to see a lawyer. We are dedicated to our clients and have a successful record of serving our clients. Solicitors of England and Wales are of high quality and are bound by the highest professional standards. We are officers of the court and are bound by standards of integrity, competence, and conduct as part of our responsibility to uphold the rule of law. Our solicitors and lawyers care about your case and are committed to providing the best possible service to you in the most considerate and careful manner. We hold 2 Law Society quality marks. Law Society accreditation helps to demonstrate that we have attained the requisite standard in the area of law and have the requisite expertise. BWF Solicitors are here to help you with your legal services when you need us.
Victon Estates provides professional and reliable service to landlords, investors and tenants. Our mission is to ethically and honestly serve our clients. We won't make promises we cannot keep, rather. We present a clear picture of the reality we can offer. We are here to help you with long and short-term let, property management, cash buyers for quick sales, stop repossession, and mortgage arrears. For all your property needs, look no further. Visit us at www.victonestates.co.uk or call us on 07448619711. Victon Estates, your property is our pride.
Hello, welcome to Heritage TV, Hanging Out with Vicky. As usual, every Saturday at 12 noon, we do have Legal Hour with BWF Solicitors. This program is sponsored by BWF Solicitors, Victon Estates, and Eagle Heights International School. Today, we are here to talk about the do's and don'ts when applying for a standard visa to the UK. And with me, as usual, is partner and also a seasoned solicitor of BWF Solicitors, Mrs. Eunice Campo. Hello, Eunice. You're welcome to Heritage TV.
Thank you so much, Vicky. I hope you've had a good week. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello, Eunice.
Can you hear me now? I can hear you, but I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Hear you clearly.
Okay.
Hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. 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 No. All of this has taught me to be very patient when it comes to technology.
A wonderful job.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I hope your week has been good.
Yes, it has.
That's
and
good.
I hope yours was good as well. Even though I know from your end you are always busy, but at least I think you look very well. That's very important.
Yes. So yes, by God's grace, we're all doing well. We're keeping busy because, of course, it is people like our viewership and those that come to us that give us the job that we do. So we are grateful for the business.
Today we're going to discuss the do's and don'ts of visit, when applying for a standard visit visa. Who is a genuine visitor under the appendix? Which appendix is it? Can you remind me?
It's Appendix V. So it refers to those that would like to apply for a visit visa.
So please, can you tell us who is a genuine visitor? Because when you are, you go to the embassy, you justify your reasons for traveling. So let's see, to have a look around.
Yes.
See what UK, and you are granted. You pick up your bag, your ticket, and you are going. Now, I know in the embassies they will have to establish: are you a genuine visitor? That is what I would like you to take us through. So it's not just having the money for the ticket, go to the embassy saying that I just want to go to the United Kingdom on the visit.
Yeah, you're completely right. Of course, you can't just now everything is changed. Even the centers that we have in Ghana, for instance, in most countries now you have a TLS contact center rather than a British consulate or embassy which you would go to. So even with the applications that we submit nowadays, a lot of countries who have the TLS contact center, they would have a place where they will go and have their biometrics taken, and then they will present their documents to be scanned. And then somebody somewhere will look at those scanned documents and make a decision as to whether this person is a genuine visitor or not. And so we're going to be looking at what a genuine visitor is under our Appendix V of the immigration rules, and what will qualify somebody to come as a visitor to the UK. So as we all know, there are different visit visas. So the last time I was explaining that people who want to come as fiancés will come on the visit visa. There are even people that are organ donors who will come on the visit visa. People who will come on private medical treatment will come on that same visa. And then there are those that, for instance, will come and they want to come and study, or they'll come and do some work-related training. All those people will come under a visit visa. But today we're specifically looking at a standard sort of tourist family visa, where you are saying to the British UKVI, which is the UK Visas and Immigration, that you want to come to visit either your family member or come and see what London looks like. So as a tourist, you want to come and have a view of London. Maybe you want to come and see Buckingham Palace. You want to come and see the soldiers that stand still and don't move. You want to come and see the Parliament, Big Ben. So there are different reasons why people want to come as a tourist to the UK. And so when you look at Appendix B specifically, it states that if you want to come as a visitor, it doesn't give a definition of genuine visitor, but it says in different categories, I mean about 4 or 5 different categories, who somebody who is a genuine visitor would do. So they want you to show that when you come, you will leave at the end of your visit. And so what would show that you would leave at the end of your visit? Usually, if people are working and they have a period of, let's say, 3 weeks leave, obviously they are only allowed 3 weeks leave. So a letter to say they are working for so and so company, they are, coming on a visit for 3 weeks because that's the leave they have. Or somebody who's in school, so they have 2 weeks break, or they have a whole summer holiday and they want to come for that summer period and then return. So fair enough. If you have evidence to prove that you will leave at the end of your stay, then of course they want to see evidence of that. And then they want to also know that you are somebody who will not come and make the UK your main home. So let's say you are given a visa and then after staying here for about 2 months, you return. A month later, you say, "Oh, you still have a valid visa, so you want to come back." They would, unfortunately, they would cancel your leave if you were to ever do something like that. And so it's important that you are able to show that you won't make the UK your main home through successive or frequent visits once they've given you your visit visa. And then they also want to know that you are a person who is coming here for the purpose for which you have received permission. So, for instance, as I said, there are different types of visit visas. And so they want to know that maybe you're applying for a tourist visa. And if you've applied for a tourist visa, you are not coming to do any other thing apart from visiting the UK as a tourist. And so you're not coming here to receive medical treatment, you're not coming here to study, you're not coming here to work. You're only coming as a tourist. And that links with the other, should I say, part of who a genuine visitor is, that you are not coming to, be in breach of any, should I say, reasons why you should be coming to the UK as a visitor. So if, like I said, you've applied as a tourist, and then somewhere down the line, somebody told you, okay, you just apply as a tourist, it's easier, but your actual reason for coming is because you want to come and receive medical treatment or you want to come and work, then unfortunately, that will be outside of the conditions for which you were granted or for which you will be granted that visit visa. So they want you to be able to make sure that you are able to prove that you are coming for that specific purpose. So if you're coming as a tourist, then of course, give them the reasons. So I'm coming to see Big Ben. I've made some research. I know that Big Ben is where Parliament is. I've done some research. I know that there's Buckingham Palace near Hyde Park. These are the kind of places I want to come and see when I come on my visit. Or you're coming to see a family member, produce evidence that that person is a family member, and indeed you are coming to visit that family member because you have a letter from that family member saying that you're coming to visit them for this specific period. So they want to know that you are coming for that specific purpose and not for any other reason. And then you have the last fact of why you are saying you're a genuine visitor, and that is to say that you will be able to accommodate yourself, you will be able to maintain yourself when you come. And so if you have a third party who is also sponsoring your trip and they would be the ones accommodating you, then you should be able to get an undertaking from that third party to say they are the ones who will be accommodating you whilst you are here in the UK having a good time. Or that person is sponsoring you financially, so they'll be maintaining you whilst you are on your trip. So that person should be able to produce evidence such as their pay slips and bank statements to show that they will be able to also maintain you once you arrive here in the UK. So the genuine visitor hasn't got a specific definition, but they've tried to break it down in a way that they are looking at those different factors to ascertain whether you are coming here genuinely on a visit. So you are definitely going to leave at the end of your trip. You're not going to come here frequently or on successive visits to make the UK your main home. They are checking that you are coming here for the main reason for which you will be permitted and not for any other unpermitted reason, and that you'll be able to accommodate or maintain yourself, or if a third party is sponsoring your trip, they will be able to accommodate and maintain you whilst you are in the UK. So when you look at Appendix V, those are the factors which they look at to ascertain whether somebody is coming on a genuine visit or not. So yes, those are the main factors that they look at when they are looking at a genuine visitor.
Okay, so Lawyer Eunice, what period of leave is a person usually granted? So let's say if you are given 6 months does that mean when you come in, I'm just thinking from a lay person's point of view, when you enter the UK, you have to stay up to 6 months, or probably, let's say you've taken your annual leave from your workplace, from your where you are coming from, and your leave is only for 2 to maybe a week or 2 weeks, but you've been given 6 months. So can you come in for 2 weeks and leave, or that 6 months period that has been granted, you have to stay up to 6 months?
Okay, so usually, for instance, in the scenario you just explained, if you've applied for a visit visa for 6 months and they grant you that 6 months leave to come to the UK as a visitor, they're not necessarily saying that you have to stay for the whole 6-month period. They're saying that that is how we apportion the leave. We give it for 6 months, or we grant it for a 12-month period, or for a 2-year period, or whatever period you have applied for. Based on the evidence that you are able to supply as well, that will also determine the period of leave that they would grant to you. In terms of a 6-month visit visa, if you are saying to them in your application, so remember that on your online application, they've asked you, when would you like to come to the UK? What reason, or for what reason would you be coming? The dates of your travel. They are looking at all of these things whilst you are making the application. So you know what information you've put on the application before you were granted. So if you have said to them that you are coming because of graduation, or you are coming to visit a person who is a family member, and you're coming for a month because maybe they're having a wedding or some reason, then of course, because of what you've put on there, they know that this is the reason for which you're coming, and you're coming to spend, let's say, 2 weeks, or you're coming to spend 1 month. So that is what they will be going by. So if, for instance, you were stopped at the airport and they were interviewing you to really find out whether you are coming on a genuine visit, and you don't know what you put on the application, that can go against you, because these are some of the things that happen at the airport, where people have made applications and unfortunately they've forgotten all the things they put on the application form, or they don't even have evidence of what they used while they made the application. And then it becomes an issue, because then they are thinking, okay, so then it means you're not coming here on a visit, you're coming here for other reasons. Or for some reason, some people will put other documentation in their hand luggage, and then they look at those documentation and they're thinking to themselves, okay, we are immigration enforcement. Unfortunately, this documentation that you have in your possession has nothing to do with the reason why you are coming to visit. And then it becomes another issue. So it's important to remember that if you have said in your application that I am coming here for a period of 2 weeks, I'm coming here for a period of 3 weeks, then this should be the reason for which you are coming. And so it's the 3 weeks that they have given to you that they would want you to stay for. And so, of course, if you are saying that that is the 3 weeks that you are coming for, you should be able to give them the right answer at port, and you should stay for that 3-week period and then return back to your country of origin when that time is up. It is different if you say you are staying for, let's say, a 2-month period and then go back to your country of origin. But you shouldn't at any point in time overstay during your visit visa, because obviously that will make you somebody who is in breach of immigration rules, and that will obviously go against you when you next apply for a visit visa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And also, in addition to what you've just said, I think you did mention that at the beginning when you were explaining to us who a genuine visitor is. You know, the duration that you have been given doesn't mean that you can go and come in. If you've been given 6 months, it's just for just one visit, isn't it?
Yes, it's just for that one visit.
You can't go and come back if you've been given 6 months.
No, because you didn't state that in your application. So you cannot go and come just because they've given you 6 months.
Okay. Laura Eunice, how about you've been given 6 months visitor's visa, but you didn't travel till the 3rd month?
Okay.
Does it go against you? Does that mean as soon as you are given the visa, you have a specific period to make that journey? Or within that 6 months, you can wait till, it depends on your commitments, you can wait till probably the 3rd month or the 4th month. I think it would not be advisable to travel on the 5th month.
Okay,
Can you give us an insight? Because these are some technicalities that we have to look at.
Yeah. So when you are granted the visa, of course, going back to your application, you said you were going to travel maybe for a wedding. So if the wedding is taking place, let's say we're now in April and the wedding is taking place on the 1st of May and your visa has been granted to you today, you can't go after the date of the wedding because unfortunately they also have evidence of the application that you submitted. So you can't say to them that unfortunately you've missed the wedding but you still want to enter the UK, and it will be it will be a no because unfortunately that is not what you put on the application. You said you are coming for a wedding and the wedding is so and so date. And so if you are saying that the wedding is so and so date, because you have to provide evidence of why you are coming. So definitely there will be an invitation to the wedding and you will include that as part of your supporting documents for the application. So if you've stated clearly to them, I am coming for my sister's wedding, and you have put a date, and then you said, oh, unfortunately, due to my circumstances, I was unable to make the wedding, but I still want to come anyway and visit my sister. Unfortunately, that would be a no-no because they could refuse you entry because you didn't state that on the application or you didn't add that as supporting documents when you were making the application. So it's important that if you are saying specifically that this is the time you are going to come, then you come at that time. Unless you said to the entry clearance officer when you were making the online application, oh, I'm coming to visit my sister who is not well. And so there was no specific, time period that you put there necessarily. And so, of course, if you're coming to visit your sister and then because of 1 or 2 issues you had back at home, you couldn't come as soon as your visit visa was granted to you and you've come, let's say 2 months or 3 months after that visit visa has been given to you, then of course you can make the trip, but you shouldn't stay longer than is necessary. So if you have a 6-month visit visa, then of course you have to stay within the 6 months and you cannot overstep that 6-month period that they have granted to you.
Okay. Laura Eunice, I don't know. Someone just sent, before I go on with this, people have started sending their questions. Yeah. If you just joined us or you've been with us from the beginning, my sincere apologies. I was supposed to, give you our social media handles where you can send your questions. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and all other social media handles. Please send in your questions because it's your questions that makes the show very interesting. So I would love it if you send in your questions to us on social media handles, especially Facebook, for us to pass on the questions to Lawyer Eunice for her to answer them. So please send in your questions and we'll pass it on to Lawyer Eunice. Lawyer Eunice, I've got a question here from Ali. He says, I was granted a multiple visitors visa for 10 years. When I applied 2 years ago, in 2019, I came to the UK to see my brother who is ill and needs regular care. I stayed for about 4 months and returned about a month later. When I reached Heathrow Airport, I was informed I would have to return as I was only here a month ago. Pardon me.
Bless you.
And my visa was cancelled. When can I reapply?
Okay, so as we've been discussing, of course, you shouldn't make the UK, or you shouldn't seem to make the UK your main home through successive or frequent visits. So this is somebody who has been granted a multiple visa for 10 years. And remember that when you're given a multiple visa, at each point in time, you are only allowed to stay for a 6-month period. So you can't even stay longer than 6 months if you're given a multiple visa for 10 years. And so this person, Ali, he's been given 10 years, but he's only allowed a period of 6 months at each given time. And he says he's come to stay for about 4 months, and then he returned and then wanted to come back again. And they were saying to him, he unfortunately, he was here a month ago, and so his visa had to be cancelled. And they have the right to do so, because unfortunately, if they believe or they have the suspicion that you would want to make the UK your main home through successive visits, they have every right to cancel your visit visa. And if he wants to make the application to reapply, even though he hasn't been in any breach of any immigration rules or conditions that was given to him, he can make the application, but he now would have to prove that he is a genuine visitor, because they're always going to refer to the fact that he came on a trip before, when he had already been to the UK for a period of 4 months. And so it would be like an adverse inference that they would always use against him. But if he has further proof that he was genuinely coming because maybe his family member had been admitted to hospital, he wanted to make sure that that person was okay, then he can produce evidence from the medical reports that that family member has to show that, hey, this is the reason why I was coming again. And I was not coming because I wanted to make the UK my home, but I was coming just so that I would check up on that family member to see that everything is okay. And so this is the medical evidence to show that they were admitted into hospital on this date. Maybe on the 1st of April, they were admitted into hospital, they had surgery, and blah, 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 blah. So now it means you have to provide further evidence to show the reason why you wanted to come before, and then explain further that you are now coming for this and that reason, and this is the evidence to show that you are definitely going to leave at the end of your trip. You do not intend to make the UK your home through successive visits, and you are coming for this sole purpose, which is to visit that family member, and you are not going to be staying to do any other thing like working or study or whatever it is that you are not permitted to do. And if that person is accommodating himself, Mr. Ali, then of course he should show evidence that he will be able to accommodate himself, or his sister will be able to accommodate him, or that they'll be able to maintain him as well whilst he's here, or he himself has the financial capability to financially support himself whilst he's on the trip. So yes, Mr. Ali, you can make the application again. There isn't any period of time that you can necessarily say that you are prevented from making that application, but you now need to show further evidence of why you made the trip before and why they should grant you another visit visa after the one that was cancelled. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. If you just joined us, this is Heritage TV Legal Hour with BWF Solicitors, and I have with me here Mrs. Lawyer Eunice Achampong. She is one of the solicitors at BWF Solicitors, and she's also a partner at BWF Solicitors. Today's topic is the do's and don'ts when applying for a visitor's visa. And Lawyer Eunice has taken us through what makes someone a genuine, visitor. And we've also delved into the period and the duration for one to be granted visa. We would like to hear from you. Send in your questions, and if you have any experiences, we would like to hear from you. Please send your questions to us through our social media handles at Heritage TV. Eunice, I've got Ola sending this question. Hi, Ola. She says she loves our show. Thank you so much. I'm from Tunisia and work as a commercial pilot. My family and I would like to apply for a visitor's visa to see my daughter, who has successfully completed her secondary school education in the UK. What sort of documents will I need to include with this application?
Okay, so this is a bit different. So she wants to apply with her family to come to the UK to see her daughter. And from what I know about student visas, most students can come and live here with their parents up to the age of 12. So, of course, if she's now completed secondary school, she's above the age of 12. So the family is now thinking, hey, we want to come and see our daughter. She's successfully completed. She's got her grades and everything. And we want to see her for this period. And I know that in most student situations, most of the time, they would be the ones going back home to go and see their family. But this time around, if the family is applying to come and visit her, then they should be able to show the reason why they are coming to visit her. And of course, if it's for maybe a graduation, which they do have sometimes in some schools, after the secondary school education level is completed, they can provide evidence of that, or they can provide evidence of the fact that maybe the child is currently in year 11 and will be completing her studies in June of this year, or July. I think July is when the academic year ends. So it will be completing her academic year in July of this year. And so they are coming to visit her during the summer period. And of course, they can provide evidence of the birth certificate to show that, of course, this is their daughter, their passports, because you need a valid passport to be able to make a valid application. Also, they need to provide evidence that they're a family. So, of course, if she's coming with her spouse and other children, she will need to provide evidence of the marriage certificate and the birth certificates of those other children as well. And then if for any reason she is coming because at this period in time, I don't know whether she will have leave as a commercial pilot, because obviously during this time, I know that not many planes will be flying as usual. But if she has some sort of leave, then she can provide evidence through an employment letter to say the role she plays, how often she works, because I know that pilots sometimes do this as a self-employed sort of basis. So the period for which she works, the period of leave that she has for any given period as well. And then, of course, her pay slips, if she's going to be maintaining herself and her family when they come, her pay slips, it doesn't have to be for any given period in time. So it could be 3 months pay slips, including her bank statements, to show that she has more than sufficient funds to be able to look after herself and her family when they come. It's important that you have enough funds in there, because if you don't have enough to be able to show them that at least you will be able to look after yourself and your family whilst on your trip, then unfortunately that will also go against you, because they will say you are unable to show that you'll be able to maintain yourself and your family once you come on this trip. And if they are to say that they are staying in a hotel, they should be able to provide evidence of the hotel where they will be staying and the booking and everything that they have, to show that they can appropriately accommodate themselves once they come on this trip to the UK. So it's important as well that they are able to show what their circumstances are, especially if the children are coming as well, the children will be on holidays, and so they're coming for this short period in time. And if the husband has other commitments as well, he can also evidence that he is also working, and so he can show evidence of his employment and the fact that he only has this period of time to stay for that holiday. And so any evidence that would show their circumstances and commitments back at home in Tunisia before they come on their visit. And of course, they should be able to have their biometrics taken and the documents scanned at the relevant TLS contact center as well.
Okay, Laura Eunice, how about those who have children who are schooling here? Let's say they are in university, and I know the minimum duration is 3 years. So with such parents, I feel they would have to do multiple visits to visit their children at the university.
Okay, so yes.
I don't know. Somebody like that, if you're a parent who's got, a child who is in university,
yes,
can you do multiple trips? Because when they come on holidays, you like to come and see them. So let's say maybe within a year, you might, visit 2 or 3 times. How does that work on the visitor's visa?
So in terms of multiple visas, it is the person who is applying that would usually apply for a multiple visa. So if it's a 2-year multiple visa or 5 or 10-year multiple visa, it will usually be the applicant making the application. But you should be able to show that you are applying and you wouldn't stay beyond the appropriate time. And so if you think that a 2-year multiple visa will be appropriate, you should be the one to evidence that you are only going to come, let's say, during the summer holidays of when your child will be granted. And then you who is coming, the applicant, should be able to show maybe you have periods of leave, maybe every Easter and every summer holiday, or you have periods of holidays between Christmas and then the summer. So between those times, at any point in time, any year, you can make those trips. So you should be able to evidence that these are the period of times that you can come and then leave at the end of that trip. You should be able to show that, of course, if you're working, then those periods of times are not so, busy because maybe you'll be on leave or you have decided to take holidays during those times to be able to make those trips to see your child who is in university studying. So it is more, the onus is more on you who is the applicant to be able to show that entry clearance officer that you have measures in place and these are the periods for which you can only come before they will grant you a period of 2 years or 5 years or 10 years multiple visa. Because if you're not able to show and they think that unfortunately you haven't been able to evidence that you can be granted multiple visa, then they will just give you 6 months visa as a standard visit visa applicant. So you should have the evidence, you should have the documents to show that you will stay for that period of time each and every year. When you are coming, you would be able to stay for maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then return to your country of origin. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Eunice, I've got Lafis here who sent in a message. I would like my brother, who is now in Ukraine, studying, to come and visit me. He's originally from Kenya and is 16 years old. As he is unemployed, I'll be sponsoring his trip. What would he need to apply?
Okay, so this is a situation where the brother is studying in Ukraine, and so I'm sure the brother has some sort of leave in Ukraine to study, and that's why he's there. So of course, he wants to make the application to come and visit his sister in the UK. And he said that he's 16, and under our immigration rules, he's still considered a child, so he's below the age of 18. And I think with most countries, a child is still a person who is below the age of 18, just as our immigration rules will state. So with this brother of hers, definitely he can make the application to come and visit his sister in the UK. He will need to show that he's in education at the moment, and that, of course, he has some holidays coming up and he wants to use that time to visit his sister. He should be able to show evidence that that is his sister as well. So birth certificates of himself and his sister at least would help to show the relationship. And then it will help that he is able to show that, of course, his sister may be the one funding and sponsoring it. So she should provide evidence of her work, which is her letter from employment, her pay slips, and also her income, which will be on the bank statements. So if, as she said, she is the one sponsoring the trip, she will need to provide a letter to that effect, and she will also need to provide a letter from her employers, pay slips from her employers, and then bank statements to show that she will be able to adequately maintain her brother when he comes. This is a boy who is under the age of 18, like I said. So there needs to be consent from the parents. So the parents will need to have a written consent to provide to him that he can make this trip on his own to the UK. He's not so young, so he doesn't need his parents to travel with him. Whereas if it was a child who was 12 and below, then you would definitely be saying this person needs to travel with their parents, because there's no evidence to show that they'll be able to travel on their own. So in terms of sorry.
Oh, wow.
So in terms of
hello.
Say
it's
hello.
Been a while. How are you?
Say I'm fine, thank you.
You good?
Yes. So in terms of that person,
another guest, and he's just here to give mom a moral support.
Yes.
So, Eunice, I'm ready when you are. Just giving you time.
Yes.
Okay.
So in terms of that person who is basically sponsoring, as long as she's able to show that she has evidence of her pay slips, her bank statements, written letter to show that she will be sponsoring this trip. She wants her brother to come on holidays for the period of time that he has been given, and that the parents will also give written consent that he can make this trip on his own. He needs to go with all this evidence. Like I said, if you are stopped at the airport and they ask you, why have you made this trip on your own, and what is your reason for coming on a visit, you should have this evidence on you to show that this is the reason why I've come. This is my sister, and this is her address, her contact details are A, B, and C. And so these things are necessary, especially when you make that passport application. So like I was saying, some of these things, some people don't necessarily take awareness to it, because they are thinking, I'm making this trip because I want to be able to show that I am somebody who is a student, or somebody who is under the age of 18. So it's very important that we are able to realize that when you're making these trips, you have evidence of the reason why you're coming as well with you, and that you don't just make the application and forget about it, but you make the application, keep these evidences with you, and remember what you've also said on the application, so that when you're stopped and questioned, you can provide answers to the questions that you are asked.
Okay. So, Eunice, with all what you've been telling me, it is not guaranteed that when you are given visa from, where you're originally traveling from, that's it. You get to the airport, no questions asked because you've already been granted the visa. You just sail through and that's it. I've now realized that it will depend on how you're going to, answer your questions when interrogated at the airport. That would determine whether you'll be allowed to enter. So in that case, even though you've been given the visa from where you are originally traveling from, the clearance officer will make that decision whether this is genuine or not. The question I'm asking myself is that when you got the visa from where you're traveling from, you went through a process. Documentation, interviews, and the officer was convinced you have to be given a visa. But when you get to your destination, it looks like there's another interview process, and that will determine whether you'll be allowed in or you not be allowed in.
Yeah. So it's basically like going to let's say going to a job. And so when you first go on work experience, you are given the opportunity to have a feel of what the job is like, and then you want to make an application for a vacancy. So you've done the work experience, you're thinking, okay, apply for this job will be easy because do you know what, I've done that work experience, they should give me the job anyway. But it's not the case. They will have to interview you properly to see if you're capable of doing the job. Just because you've done some work experience doesn't mean that you are qualified for the job. And so it is sort of the same thing when it comes to these applications. So like I was saying before at the beginning, you now have most countries having a TLS contact center rather than a British consulate or British embassy. So you are not necessarily interviewed before you are given the visa. So the interview is sort of almost taking place after you have been given the visa, which is a weird way of thinking about it. So it's not in every case. I mean, most people may be granted the visa, and some of them may not even be interviewed once they arrive at the airport or whatever. But in some cases, you will have an entry clearance officer who would stop you and would want to have an interview with you and literally get some answers from you. And it happens in most countries. And I think that even me, myself, as a British national, the first time I was traveling to America, this is what happened. They obviously kept me and interrogated me. And so I think this is some sort of normality now, that when you come and...
Did you know they were interrogating a lawyer? Did you know?
At the time I was going, I was a law student. I was not yet a lawyer. I was a law student.
Right.
Yes. So, yes, I think, of course, they wouldn't have a clue. So they asked me all those questions about who I was going to visit, whether I had the address of the person I was going to visit. And it's similar to the questions that they will ask you here, because they will ask you those questions on your application as well. So who are you coming to visit? What's that person's telephone number? What's that person's address? What is the reason for your visit? Are you just coming to see that person? And they will actually give that person a call. They will try and find out if that person is actually expecting you, who is a family member or whatever, to the UK. And so you should remember the details that you've given, your dates of travel, for instance, your mother's name, your father's name that you put on the application, their dates of birth. You should remember all these nitty-gritty details on the application, because it can just come up whilst you are being interrogated at the airport.
Yes.
So those things are necessary. And if you have evidence of your sister's letter, that will help, because at least then you can show them, oh, this is my sister's letter of invitation that she gave to me. So her address is on there, her contact number is on there. You can give her a call and obviously see whether what I'm saying is true. So it's important that you have this information and you keep these documentations on you, so that they know that, of course, you've come on a genuine visit and it's not something that you are just making up on the spot. And it helps when you have these things on you, so that some people, have come and they don't remember a single thing which they put on the application, and they are not even able to show the reason why they are coming on the visit. And sometimes it ends up in people being detained because they don't believe that they have come for the purpose for which they said they were coming, or they've asked them to return to their country of origin, because unfortunately they don't believe it.
I think it's especially when, excuse me to say, when you are not educated enough and the application is made on your behalf. Maybe you are not able to, write, fill in the application form and things like that. So people tend to get a representative who will be filling in all the forms and making the application on your behalf. But I think the problem comes in when the applicant is not briefed properly what has been put forward for the application. So when they arrive at their destination and being asked certain questions, they really, have no clue and be wondering.
Yeah, so
I think that's something that they will have to look into. Properly.
Yeah, so like you're saying, some people would rather go to an agent to complete the application for them. And then you have some people who even go to their own family members to complete the application process for them. So somebody, the person who is in the UK, so the family member who is in the UK, because it's an online application, anybody in any part of the world can complete the application. It's just that when you're going to have the biometrics taken, you will have to do it in your country of origin, where you are, so that at least they know that you are in that specific country and you are making the application to visit the UK. So a lot of people may use an agent, they may use a family member, the person who they're coming to visit may be the one even making the application on their behalf. They can use a legal representative. So there are different people who would be using different forms and different people to make this application. And so, for instance, if we are a legal representative making the application on your behalf, we will send you a copy of the application that has been completed and the checklist and all the documentation that you have provided for the application. So you can't say that you didn't know what was in there, because you will be the one providing us with that information anyway. And then we would in turn give you back a copy of the information that you have also provided to us, so that you can't say that you didn't know what was in the application. So if it's an agent completing it on your behalf or a family member who is completing it on your behalf, please make sure that those agents or family members are giving you a copy of those applications, so that you know what is in them. And you will have copies of the documents, because you will have to submit it at the TLS contact center, or if you are in a country where there's a British consulate, then you'll be submitting it at that end. So you will have copies of those documents, and you should keep good record of those copies, because they will not take those copies from you. They will only scan them and then give them back to you. So you should have good records of those copies and not just throw them away because you are done with the application. Keep them and make sure that as much as possible, you can refer back to it when your visa is granted, and you don't say that you didn't make the application, or somebody made the application on my behalf, so I didn't know what was in there. And unfortunately, that will not really help when you say that to an entry clearance officer, because in their mind, they're thinking, well, you've made this application, you were the one who provided the information to them, and so you should have known what was in there and why you were coming to visit the UK. Yeah.
Okay. On that note, we've come to the end of the show. But before we leave, as usual, Eunice will give us her closing remarks and give us her details. Anybody who would like to make contact, because honestly speaking, at the end of every show on Saturday, a lot of people will call me and ask me, but I just keep asking myself, but you watched the show, and Eunice gave her details on the show, but they will still, call me to get your details. So Eunice, your final words and details for people to get in touch with you.
Thank you so much, Vicky. So as I was just talking, obviously most of you would have people in this situation or would know of somebody who's probably made an application of this sort and is trying to maybe make another application, or a family member who would like to come and visit the UK. And it's a constant, should I say, cycle, because most people are thinking, what is the best way to make this application? And whether or not a solicitor makes it on your behalf or a third party makes it on your behalf, the success of the application will be based on the evidence you produce and how best you are able to explain your circumstances back in your country of origin. And you have to show that you are going to be a genuine visitor. And so if for any reason you want to seek further inquiries or you want to make an application of this sort, do not hesitate to contact us on 0208 493 7340. So 0208 493 7340. And we are situated in Seven Sisters. So we are on the 4th floor of Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road. And the postcode is N154NP. So N154NP. And out of office contact number for myself is 075 35 81 3910. So 075 35 81 3910. So yes, thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. And I also like to say thank you to all those who tuned in and sent in their questions. I'd like to also say hello to Mrs. Helena Akiumi. You've been a wonderful supporter. Thank you so much. And all the new people who joined us today, this is their first time joining us on the program, especially Ezekiel Johnson. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you've learned something from today's discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we will, just end the show. And I believe that you continue to stay safe, take good care of yourselves. And we hope to see you next week, same time, with another interesting topic. On that note, I'll join Lawyer Eunice for us to say a lovely goodbye to all of you. Bye-bye. Have a lovely weekend.
At BWF Solicitors, we take pride in our clients' service as a niche law practice. We are conscious of the demands of our clients. We always offer a friendly, listening ear and sympathetic attitude. We've worked with thousands of people all across the UK in all areas of personal legal services. We have received great feedback, reviews from our clients. We are located at Seven Sisters in Tottenham on the 4th floor of the Anna House, right on top of the Victoria Line train station, with utmost convenience. We have a friendly office and provide all of the refreshments necessary while you wait to see a lawyer. We are dedicated to our clients and have a successful record of serving our clients. Solicitors of England and Wales are of high quality and are bound by the highest professional standards. We are officers of the court and are bound by standards of integrity, competence, and conduct as part of our responsibility to uphold the rule of law. Our solicitors and lawyers care about your case and are committed to providing the best possible service to you in the most considerate and careful manner. We hold 2 Law Society quality marks. Law Society accreditation helps to demonstrate that we have attained the requisite standard in the area of law and have the requisite expertise. We are solicitors and here to help you with your legal services when you need us.